Hello, everybody. My name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine, right here in the city of Memphis, in the county sheriff is in the state of Tennessee. Today's date is early, Sunday morning, December the 22nd, 2019. Time 3:50 a.m. First, I thank all my fans, my support for your continued encouragement, support. I'm continue to keep myself employed right here in Memphis. Try to stay here and continue to further my education, my work out online, and continue to pursue my social degree. Studying, being administrative concentration, market. At present time, take a break from going to school, but in the very near future, I will be going back to my work college and online and continue to pursue my social degree, studying, being administrative concentration, market. Now, back in 2009, 2010, see, I was a student at Remedy College right here in the Memphis tri-state area, and I was enrolled in the medical building and coding program. And I did graduate with a diploma, but I didn't get the certification. And so what I did this year, in January of 2019, I had enrolled in this Health Tech Institute of Memphis, right here in the Memphis tri-state area, and right there on Vance Avenue, and in the medical assistant program. And it was a 9-month program from January to October. In a, like I said, a medical assistant program, and sure, I did graduate with a diploma, and I also earned my certification in medical assistant. And so, I'm now certified as a medical assistant, but I also had an opportunity to get certified as a phlebotomy technician, and EKG technician, and records specialist also. And so I'm going to continue to pursue those certifications as well. Now I know it's excuse me. And I know right now it's like almost 4 o'clock in the morning. It's 3:52 a.m. And so what I'm gonna do is I was kind of a little busy yesterday. That was my only day off for the weekend, which was Saturday. Yesterday, Saturday, and I was out running around, running errands, and so I tried not to start my video too early, without at least getting a little rest. But what I am, I'm gonna work the time out. That way I can still do my Instagram and then do my Facebook Live. So that will work on. Now, excuse me, on my previous videos, like I've been saying, people be horse playing, and mainly what I've been bringing the issue about is how these people over on the East Coast of the United States of America, and this is serious. This is not made up. But see, I live right here in the city of Memphis, and I've been living here all my life, and people been doing things for the wrong reason, and so we're gonna have to address this, because people be trying to horseplay and trying to be a smart ass with other people. And like I said, Chicago, Illinois, we've been going over the history of Chicago, and we're gonna continue. And we're gonna continue to go over the history of Chicago, Illinois, and the history of America and things of this nature, because it's very serious, and continue to refer to the Holy Bible. But like I said, people are taking the Holy Bible, using and misusing the Holy Bible. as I said earlier, people on the East Coast, and horse playing with other people, talking about devil worship and witchcraft and the occult and cults and all this, you know. And so we've been going over the history of Chicago. It's very, very important. Like history in general, is important. And, you know, because we've been going over the Holy Bible for us, and it's a lot of history in the Holy Bible. And you know, you go to the Book of Genesis, you know, go to the Old Testament, the Book of Genesis, and then you go to the New Testament, and you know, history is important. And so we've been continuing to go over the history of Chicago, the history of America, and just history in general. And so the people on the East Coast, you know, trying to live in other parts of America, and devil worship and witchcraft, you know, trying to be a smart ass and horse playing with other people, and you know, like I said, trying to live in the city of Chicago, and things they're trying to hide. See, you know, you get the bloodhound. No, this is serious. You know, you get the bloodhound because the bloodhound, he gonna find you. The bloodhound will find you. You know, you try to hide, and the bloodhound gonna find you. He gonna find you. You know, just like all the other hounds, but the bloodhound, he is a breed of dog that was bred for that reason. You know. Then you have other hounds, but the bloodhound, that's what he was bred for. You know, to find people. You know, and you know, when you're trying to hide, you know, all this kind of stuff, but doing background checks, and you know, excuse me, it's necessary. It's necessary doing background checks. You know, like I said, for me, it's me, Eric Dwayne Johnson. You know, I have a mother and a father. Excuse me. And on my mother's side, you know, I have a grandmother and a grandfather. On my father's side, I have a grandmother and a grandfather, and so on and so forth. And you know, on my mother's side, you know, my grandmother's mother and father, and on my mama's side, my grandfather had a mother and a father. And see, and also on my father's side, had a grandmother and a grandfather. And see, on my father's side, my grandmother had a father and a mother. And on my father's side, my grandfather had a mother and a father. See, background check. See, when it comes to the East Coast, see, background check. And see, let me remind you. See, I did, I think it was 2018. I did my DNA, and I had showed everybody I did a DNA, the family tree DNA. So trying to lie. See, Eric don't let you lie. See, first of all, ain't no such thing nobody living on the East Coast and then walking around trying to tell other people that you important. You ain't no damn body. You ain't no damn body. See, that's the reason why when we talking about the pre-13 colony history and all these slaves, the African slaves were brought over here by the pirates. And the pirates were on the ship, and then the first African slaves that came over to this country, they were from Angola. See, when you horseplay with people, see, this is the reason why history is so important. You see all these African Americans living on the East Coast. See, they would need to kill your damn ass. See, you horseplay with other people. No damn body in Angola sent nobody over here because the damn pirates ran out of supplies on the ship and then had to divert the ship up the coast to Virginia and then tried to trade the Angolan slaves who were intended to go to the Caribbean and ended up in Virginia. So, see, horseplaying gonna get you killed. Horseplaying gonna get you killed. Not only the African American, but the damn white people as well. See, you horseplay with people. Nobody over in sub-Saharan Africa, in Angola, told the pirates to divert, and slaves that were intended to go to the Caribbean. And because the pirates ran out of supply, they had to take the slave and trade for supplies. And then you walking your dumb ass around horseplaying with other African Americans. And then we had slaves that came through the slave ports and through the slave ports and here in the United States of America. You understand? We had slaves that came through the state of Mississippi. We had slaves came through the state of Louisiana, New Orleans, Louisiana. We had slaves that came through slave ports in Galveston, Texas. We had slaves that came through the slave port in Veracruz, Mexico. See, you be horseplaying. See, this is what I've been saying. See, you be horseplaying. You be horseplaying. You be trying to be a smart ass, and you're gonna get your ass killed. Gonna get your ass killed. Horseplaying. Ain't no damn battle on the East Coast. No, you ain't no damn battle. Trying to live around, just like when I be out here in the community and living in this neighborhood all these years. See, this would be why you get a background check done on these damn people that used to live around here and lived in like all this neighborhood. My mom and dad them bought this house. They were way back in the 70s, the early 70s. Before the white people started leaving, the white people lived in this area. This whole neighborhood, this whole area, wasn't nothing but white people lived in this area. Then they left. Then the African Americans moved into this neighborhood, into this area. See, that's really why you get a background check done. Get a background check and identify all these people that were living around this neighborhood in this area from the East Coast. Then people all around this country will see trying to be a smart ass. Trying to be a smart ass. You're gonna get your ass killed. And doing things for no reason. Just making up a bunch of lies. Just making up a bunch of lies. You're gonna get your ass killed. You're gonna get your ass killed. Be trying to be a smart ass. And thinking that you're getting away with it. See, like I said, in Chicago, get the bloodhound and go around. The bloodhound gonna find these people from the East Coast that's trying to hide, trying to horseplay, trying to be a smart ass with everybody. And think you're getting away with it. And think you're getting away with it because you're not. Because you're not. going around talking about some devil worship and talking about some witchcraft and all that kind of nonsense. You don't know what you're talking about. There's no such thing as devil in worship. No such thing. It's Satan and ism. You just lying. All that junk ain't no more some made up lies. That's all you doing, lying. The occult. You just lying. Screw. But like I say, I'm gonna do my video today, and we're gonna continue to go over the history of Chicago, Illinois, as well as other history and things in nature. But what I'm gonna do to save, trying to manage my time, but get them background checks done as soon as possible, because it is very important. Because the people on the East Coast horse playing, trying to be a smart ass, and just like out there in California, in Los Angeles, California City, there ain't nothing but the people from the East Coast talking about some damn blood gang and Crip gang, talking about some bloodstone and limestone. Since we've been going over the history of Chicago, you see it ain't no such thing, no bloodstone, no limestone in Chicago. Nowhere in the history of Chicago. Ain't no such thing, no blood gang, no Crip gang in the history of Chicago. Nowhere. Nowhere in the history of Chicago. You just be lying. And gonna be so serious, like I said, retaliate on the so-called blood gang and the Crip gang, so-called bloodstone lines. Retaliate and beat on people from the East Coast, horse playing, trying to be a smart ass. You thought you got away with how? See them background checks. We're gonna identify all you people from the East Coast, and when we find you, it's gonna be serious repercussions, consequences and repercussions. You ain't getting away. You ain't getting away trying to horseplay and trying to be a smart ass. You ain't smart. See, like I say, in the history of Chicago, ain't nothing but the folk and the my people lines, the folk lines and the my people lines. That's all you see in the history of Chicago. We've been going over the history of Chicago. You see how the white people, the white Americans, the European Americans, were living in Chicago. We were talking about the 40 Thieves. That were the first, what they call it. The gang that came from Europe and the Europeans who were living in America, pretty much the first organized gang, that spread. The European, the 40 Thieves. With them 40 Thieves, they was living over there on the 13 colonies. And I know, they left the East Coast and moved to Chicago. And when we be going over the history of Chicago, they were talking about Jewtown and how a lot of the European Americans resisted the African Americans moving to the city of Chicago, to Illinois, to the state of Illinois, as well as other northern states. Eventually, the court system, ruled that discrimination was unconstitutional. And also, Hispanic, Latino, also moved, including Asian, Pacific Island, discrimination. As you can see, you don't see nothing in the history of Chicago. No blood gang, no Crip gang, no bloodstone, no limestone. Nowhere in the history of Chicago. Nowhere in the history of Chicago. Nowhere. So if you hear somebody say they from Chicago and they tell you and they say anything like that, they lying. But see, what ended up happening is these people from the East Coast been trying to live in the city of Chicago, in Illinois, you understand? And getting something done about that. Everybody, like I said, and like I've been saying, get them automatic rifle. Get them AK-47 up to Chicago, Illinois, up to the state of Illinois, and cause talking about horse playing and trying to be a smart ass. All these African Americans got the nerve to be living on the East Coast in the 13th continent, and you see in the history of America, the Native Americans were already living here in America. And then the Europeans came over and started settling, here in America on the East Coast. And the pirates were already transporting slaves, African slaves from sub-Saharan Africa to Niger, Congo. The majority, 99.99% of the slaves who were African. The East African slave trade. Then you had the West African or transatlantic slave trade. And the pirates were transporting the Niger Congo, the slaves, Africans from sub-Saharan Africa. They were going to the Caribbean first. And you sitting over there on the East Coast horse playing and trying to be a smart ass, talking about some devil worship, Satanism. I know what you be doing. Horse playing. Talking some damn witchcraft and a cult. You're gonna get your ass killed. I'm telling you, you're gonna get your ass killed. And all these people talking about they the folks and my people gonna get your ass killed. Talking about some devil worship. Talking about some witchcraft. Gonna get your ass killed. Ain't going, like I've been saying, ain't going to accept, ain't going to approve, and damn sure ain't going to allow. Ain't going to allow. And then also there's so-called sorority and fraternity. So-called sorority and fraternity. And also these so-called secret societies. So-called secret societies. You know, over there in sub-Saharan Africa, you know, these secret societies, and then over there in Asia, secret society, in Europe, secret society. See, this how you horseplay. This is how you horseplay on the East Coast. See, you try to pretend like you're getting away. Or horseplaying. Trying to be a smart ass. Gonna get your ass killed. Tell you, gonna get your ass killed. Because see, 2019 coming to an end. From 2020 and beyond. Gonna be serious, severe consequences and repercussions. Severe consequences and repercussions. You ain't gonna get away with it. You ain't gonna get away with it. Like I've been saying over and over again, and be the East Coast beach, calmly walking around, thinking you're getting away with horseplaying, and trying to be a smart ass. And then see, this what I've been saying about the sorority and the fraternity. See, I be out here in the community and on the street, not just at work, but I just be moving around like I live right in this neighborhood community, and you trying to be a smart ass. Well, you're not smart. See, I know I leave my video, and then they also go for them so-called secret society like the Masons and the Eastern Star. You think you're trying to be a smart ass. Well, just keep trying to be a smart ass. Horseplaying. Just keep thinking you're getting away. On the East Coast. When I get these background checks, when I identify all these East Coast bitches, just keep thinking you're getting away. And then, when I had thought about this the other day, but I know it was on my mind. But the good thing about doing background checks, you remember a few months ago we were talking about the FBI, and the FBI had did a file on this Nation of Islam, and then all these other groups like the Moorish Science Temple, and like all these black Hebrew Israelites, got an FBI file. You understand? But that's it. See, that's a good thing about doing background. See, this is how a lot of people get the evidence on a lot of people from the East Coast. You understand? You see what I'm coming around? See how you think you smart. You try to be a smart ass. Try to horseplay. You think you smart. I know. See, I'm gonna join the Nation of Islam, and I'm gonna be able to use the Nation of Islam. I'm gonna go around calling myself a black Hebrew Israelite, and I'm gonna be able to go around and see, you think you smart. And it ain't just the Muslim, the American Muslim side. They do the same thing, like Jesse Jackson, talking about he a Baptist and he a Christian. But then when you see he living in Chicago, him and his wife living in Chicago, going around talking about their wife, but they both belong to a sorority and a fraternity. Then he also belonged to the Bole Society. You see what I'm talking about? See, trying to be a smart ass, thinking you smart, horse playing with other people. From 2020 and beyond, gonna be severe consequences and repercussions. You ain't smart, and you damn sure ain't getting away with horse playing. You see how Al Sharpton living over there in New York. You see what he be doing, going around talking about some what was that organization he started? The National Action Network. Reverend Sharp. It's like I've been saying over and over. First of all, ain't no such thing, ain't no Baptist. Ain't no such thing being no Christian. See, this is stuff that they had got straightened out years ago. But trying to be a smart ass, trying to horseplay with other people, you think you smart. Think you smart. Think that somebody thinking that you're gonna get everybody. See, this is how they horseplay. You think people listening to you. That's what the sororities and fraternities do. They try to go around, trying to come like you supposed to listen to the East Coast. Well, okay. Well, if you want somebody to listen to you screaming and hollering while you getting your ass toe plumb out the frame, you want somebody to listen to the East Coast from 2020 and beyond. From 2020 and beyond, severe consequences and repercussions. Nowhere in the history of Chicago. See, the reason why I do it. Nowhere in the history of Chicago. You don't see no blood gang, you don't see no crib gang, you don't see no bloodstone, no limestone. You don't see nobody walking around with no Cincinnati red hats on, no arrows on a diamondback hat. You don't see nowhere in the history of Chicago. Nowhere. It be that East Coast bitch. Be that East Coast bitch. There's gonna be severe consequences and repercussions. Severe consequences and repercussions. People ain't gonna be able to do that. Can't do their time. And, the federal prison, state prison. See, I know. See, a lot of times I do things. See, over there on the East Coast, the 13 colonies, the state penitentiary, local jails. But see, when you in Tennessee, Arkansas, Mississippi, Kentucky, Alabama, you're not on the East Coast, Ohio, I know what you be doing. You be having all these people from the East Coast trying to live in Ohio and other states. They be coming up from the East Coast to East Tennessee. I know what you're doing. There's gonna be severe consequences and repercussions. Just keep telling yourself the same damn lie that you're getting away. And get these background checks. Just like these sorority and fraternity school teachers. You ain't know that a lot of these people from the East Coast and these sororities and fraternities from the East Coast, from the 13 colonies, working at the school, the lawyers and the doctors from the East Coast. Just keep trying to be a smart ass and horse playing with other people. Talking about you're in a secret society. Okay, whatever you say. From 2020 and beyond. See, this is another thing I want to bring to your attention. See, when we be talking about the sorority fraternity, it's just like the people in Los Angeles, California. You know, in the state of California. See, this is what you have to remind people of when you talk about the blood gang and the Crip gang, and talking about gang, talking about the bloodstone, limestone. See, when you talk about the sorority and fraternity and them secret societies, see, you see the University of Southern California, the University of California, Los Angeles, and them other colleges in Europe. See, this is what you have to remind people of. The reason why I constantly keep saying retaliate on the so-called blood gang and the Crip gang and the so-called bloodstone and the limestone. Cause see, the East Coast bitch left the East Coast and was living out there in California, in Los Angeles as well as other parts of California, and trying to influence the people in California to listen to the people on the East Coast. And this is how you try to get people to listen, by going intentionally trying to go to school and get you a degree, and then walk around talking about, well, I got a bachelor's degree, I'm in a sorority, I'm in a fraternity, and I've been to college. This is how you try to influence people to listen to you on the East Coast. From 2020 and beyond. From 2020 and beyond, severe consequence of repercussions. You're gonna get your ass killed. Get these background checks done. Get these background checks. Then see, this is how you open people's eyes to the truth. When you start doing these background checks, see, a lot of people, I'm being serious, and a lot of people, they don't know. See, I don't know everybody. It's just like this neighborhood. Now we continue to talk about the history of Chicago. So this the folk, the folk Nation Alliance, the Folk Nation Alliance. About 5 minute video. But see, this is all the folk Nation Alliance. Nowhere in the Folk Nation Alliance do you see a blood gang or Crip gang, or bloodstone, limestone. Nowhere. But like we were saying, see, living in this neighborhood, my mother and father bought this same house, this same exact house. I growed up in this neighborhood. Went to West Haven Elementary School, went to Lanier Junior High School, graduated high school from Fairleigh High School, right here in this neighborhood. Do a background check on the people who lived in this neighborhood. Even you see the white people, European Americans, they were living in this neighborhood first. Do a background check. And then when you start seeing the people, the African Americans start living in this neighborhood, do a background check. Then you will see. See, you open people's eyes to the truth. And that them people on the East Coast, that East Coast bitch is horse playing. They're trying to be a smart ass. Pay attention. After we do the folk nation history, we're gonna do the my people history. My people nation history. So pay attention to all the organizations that they show on the folk nation history. Some of them Hispanic, Latino. Some of them European Americans. Some of them African American. Could be some Asian. Could be some Asian or Native, Pacific Island. Could be. Because, this day and time, people moving around. Could move to Chicago. And, because you living in Chicago, you become a member of these Folk Nation Alliance organizations. Or the My People Nation Alliance. Now we just went over the Folk Nation Alliance. Now this is the My People Nation Alliance. And nowhere in the My People Nation Alliance do you see a blood gang or a Crip gang or Bloodstone Alliance. Nowhere in the history. Nowhere. Now, like I said, when you talk about the Folk Nation Alliance and the My People Alliance, it could be African American. It's a lot of African American. It could be some Hispanic, Latino Americans. It could be some European Americans. It could be some Asian, Pacific Island, Native American. Because people been moving around and end up moving to Chicago and to the state of Illinois. And when you move to the state of Illinois, that's all you're going to see is the Folk Nation Alliance and the My People Nation Alliance. this is one. See, this is the reason why. Excuse me. This is the reason why I said get the bloodhound. Get the bloodhound moving around in the city of Chicago, in the state of. Get the bloodhound moving around. Oh, he gonna find. But see, in the city of Chicago, ain't nothing but the folk nation lines and the my people lines in the state of Illinois. So telling me about some damn East Coast and trying to hide from 2020 and beyond severe consequence and repercussions. See, you ain't finna horseplay and try to be a smart ass. You ain't saying nothing. You never have been. You just be making up a bunch of lies. You lie to yourself and then you lie to other people. You just a damn fool, making a fool out of yourself. Then you call yourself trying to make a fool out of other people, thinking that you smart. Well, when I get these background checks done on a whole lot of people, get these background checks. before I go to my Instagram, I want to make sure I remind. We're gonna continue to stay on with the Holy Bible, and we've been going to the Old Testament as well as the New Testament. And we've been continuing to do our study on a lot of people that's talking, that's mentioned in the Holy Bible. It's mainly, in the book of Genesis, in the Old Testament, in the book of Genesis. For example, the Amorites, Afro-Asiatic, the Egyptians, Afro-Asiatic, the Kenites. They were a nomadic people, a nomadic tribe, but nobody never has identified the Kenites as being an Afro-Asiatic or Indo-European, or they've been identified as being a nomadic tribe who were also, according to the Bible, traveling through Canaan, through the land of Canaan. The Cadmonites, an ancient tribe. The Kenizzites, also an ancient tribe. The Hittites, Indo-European. The Perizzites, are ancient people. The Rephaims, they were considered to be giants, a gigantic people, who were also known as Zamzummim and Emim. But when it comes to linguistic identification, the Rephaim has not been identified by their language, just being a people that's mentioned in the Bible as being giants. Now, Canaanite. Slow down. Wait a minute. Already Canaanite. Now, when we say Canaan, the land of Canaan, we know in according to the Bible, Holy Bible, the Old Testament, book of Genesis, about the flood story and Noah and his 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and Ham had a son named Canaan. So, and his descendants, they were the Canaanites. But the land of Canaan, you had all these people that were traveling from Europe, Asia. Then they'll go through the land of Canaan to Africa. Because Egypt was right there. But once you cross, you understand where the land of Canaan is, and then the people were traveling. They will travel through the land of Canaan down, to Africa, to Egypt, as well as, from Egypt to other parts of Africa. Considered to be a Canaanite. Because then, over a period of time, it wasn't just the Canaanites who were the descendants of Ham and Noah, but other groups of people, like the Hittites, for example, who were Indo-European. They lived in the land of Canaan, and some of these other people, the Kenites, Cadmonites, Kenizzites, you understand? They also lived. The Perizzites, they also lived in the land of Canaan. The Rephaims, they also lived in the land of Canaan. They were considered to be a Canaanite. But the Canaanites themselves been identified as being Afro-Asiatic, the descendants from Ham and from Noah. Then you have a Girgasites, Afro-Asiatic. Now when we say Jebusite, Jebus, and that's supposed to be Jerusalem also, Jebus. Now Jebus, we understand the Hebrew language in the land of Canaan. You understand? And but Jebus has not necessarily been identified as being Afro-Asiatic. Jebus is, when you talk about a person or persons, has not been identified as being Afro-Asiatic. And when it comes to the Hittites or the Horites, you can consider them being a Canaanite living in the land of Canaan, because the Hittites and now the Horite has not been identified as being Afro-Asiatic, or the Hittites. And see, the Hurrian, matter of fact, what Now, when it comes to the Hurrian, the Hurrians were people of the Bronze Age, and they spoke a Urartian language called Hurrian, and lived in Anatolia and northern Mesopotamia. You understand? Based on evidence, the large influence of the king of Matane, and I said the Matane perhaps being Indo-Iranian, speaking form the ruling class over the Hurrians. The population of the Indo-European speaking Hittite Empire in Anatolia included a large population of Hurrians, and there is significant Hurrian influence in Hittite mythology. By the early Iron Age, the Hurrians had been assimilated with other people. Their remnants were subdued by related people that formed the state of Urartu. The present-day Armenians are an amalgam of the Indo-European groups with the Hurrians and Urartians. So that's the Hurrians. Now let me get on it. Now it says that the Horites, so the Horites were a people mentioned in the Torah in Genesis 14:6, 36:20, and Deuteronomy 2:12, inhabiting areas around Mount Seir in Canaan. Genesis 36:25. Now pay attention, listen to this now, pay attention. It said, according to Archibald Safes, 1915, the Horites have been identified with references in Egyptian inscriptions to Kar, formerly translated as Harai, which concern a southern region of Canaan. More recent scholarship has associated them with the Hurrians, with the biblical name Hittite being a reference to this same group. See? Now it said the first mention of the Horites in the Torah was when they were defeated by a coalition of eastern kings led by Kedar-Laomer of Elam and modern Iran. These kings had come through the Horite territory to subdue a rebellion by a coalition of other kings of peoples whom they had ruled for 12 years, who were living near the Dead Sea and Sodom and Gomorrah. Genesis 14:1 and 12. Later, according to Genesis 36, the Horites coexisted and intermarried with the family of Esau, grandson of Abraham, through Isaac. Genesis 25:21 through 25. They were eventually brought under the rule of the descendants of Esau, also being known as Edom. Now let me continue reading. It says the ancestry of Seir the Horite is not specified. Pre-Edomite Horite chiefs, descendants of Seir, are listed in the book of Genesis 36:20 through 29, and First Chronicles 1 chapter 38 through 40. One of these chiefs, Zibeon, is also described as a Hittite. Esau's wife, Oholibamah, was his granddaughter. Oholibamah Bat and Ben Zibeon Ben Zir. And saying Genesis 36:24 through 20, their 3 sons all became chiefs. Although unlike other sons of Esau, they are not called chiefs in Edom. This may indicate a transition time which only certain Horite areas were becoming known as Edom. The chiefs who descended from Esau listed in Genesis 36:40 through 43. 2 of these chiefs would appear to have been female, Timnah and Oholibamah. And so on and so forth. Let me see. Now let me move down here. And sometimes certain of these leaders rose to the level of kings over the other chiefs, and the whole right land became known as Edom rather than the land of Seir. One example of these king is Jobab, son of Zerah, a son of Esau, and his wife Basemath, who was Ishmael's daughter. In Genesis 36:35, another is a Temanite, Husham. In Genesis 36:34, a descendant of Esau's son, Teman. In Genesis 36:10-11. None of these kings' sons became kings after their father died. Apparently there was no familial royal line whereby sons of these post-Horite kings succeeded to the throne, but rather some other system was in place by which kings were either chosen or won the right to rule. Genesis 36:31-29. By the time government, these people had been consolidated under kings instead of chiefs. Horites are no longer mentioned as such. The land of Seir had become known as Edom. And so the Hittites, the Horites, they were considered to be a Canaanite, Philistine, Indo-European, can also be considered to be a Canaanite. The Moabites, Afro-Asiatic. The Midianites, Afro-Asiatic. and the Ammonite, Afro-Asiatic. But we gonna continue on this. We're gonna stay on it and continue to have to study, to continue our study on this. Now what I'm gonna do my Instagram. Oh, I know one thing. I want while we talking about groups of people, the map. Now this is a map of the languages of Africa. This is another map of the languages of Africa. Now this is another map of the languages of Africa. Now this is an Afro-Asiatic language distribution map. This also is a Afro-Asiatic language distribution map. this is a Nilo-Saharan language distribution map. This is another Nilo-Saharan language distribution map. This is a Niger-Congo language distribution map. This is another Niger-Congo language distribution map. Now this is the Albanian language distribution map. Now this is a Baltic language map. Now this is a Greek language map. Now this is a Slavic language distribution map. Now this is an Altaic language map. This is a Euro-Altaic language map. This is a Romanian language map, and you know Romania, the Romanian language is considered to be a Latin Romance language, and they call Romania is also referred to in the Romanian language as Wallachia. There again, that's reason why it's so important to study the first history of the first century. Study the history of the first century. Let me see what time. I'm gonna do my now I'm gonna do my Instagram. Hello everybody, my name is Eric D. Johnson, also known as BrightShine. I live right here in the city of Memphis in the county of the state of Tennessee. Today's date is early Sunday morning, December the 22nd, 2019, the time 5:19 a.m. First, I thank all my family and support for your continued privilege support. Anti-gang. Anti-gang. Now these are just a few of the free logo design websites that you can go to make anti-gang logo. First, we want to always give thanks to God for all the blessings and the guidance that He provides us all with. Always put God first. Nowhere in the history of Chicago do you see a blood gang or crip gang or bloodstone or limestone. See? Nowhere in the history of Chicago. Only thing you see in history you see in Chicago, even before the folk Nation Alliance, the My People Nation Alliance, it was all them organizations. Then it became an alliance. That's the issue of Chicago, in the state of Illinois. See them people, them East Coast bitches be horse playing, and be trying to be a smart ass on the East Coast. From 2020 and beyond, with 2020 and beyond, severe consequences and repercussions. Severe consequences and repercussions. Get these background checks done. Now, the pre-13 colony history. Harvard University, oldest institute of higher learning in the United States, founded March 13, 1639. Cambridge, Massachusetts. William and Mary College, Williamsburg, Virginia, founded February 8, 1693. Second oldest institute of higher learning in the United States of America. Phi Beta Kappa Society, founded December 5, 1776. The College of William and Mary recognized as the first Greek letter student society in North America. Alpha Delta Pi first sorority, founded in 1851, Wesleyan College, Macon, Georgia. The first organization to adopt the word sorority was Gamma Phi Beta, established on November 11, 1874 at Syracuse University, Syracuse, New York. Now the first women's fraternity was at DuPont College around 18-something. Now the basis of the sorority returns to old world secret society. For example, the Freemasons, the Eastern Star, they talk about Euclid, the mathematician, did the Alexander to Egypt. 1390, 1425 mentioned the Hardware manuscript, the reason born the Cook manuscript. And as well as the Dowling manuscript. Now, examples of them old world secret society. Skull and Bone, Rose Screw, the Son of Living Thug Society, Prime Sign, Ordo Temple Orient, Knights of the Golden Eagle Woodman. The ancient Arab order of the Nobles of the Mystic Shrine. The Improved Order of Women, the P.O. Sisterhood, the Freemasons, Eastern Star, the Elks, the Lower Order, Moose, the Bilderberg Group, the Ku Klux Klan, the Knights of the Dying, Knights of Columbus, the Illuminati, the Forest Society, the Mega Order of the Golden Dawn, the Mystic Order of the Veil Prophets of the Enchanted Realm, the United Order of the Golden Dawn, the United Ancient Order of Druid, National Grain, the Ancient Order of Urbanans, the Opus Dei, the Knights Templar, the Scottish Rite. You have the Spanish Guardians, the Carbonera, the Black Hand. You say Mafia, there's Afro-Asian, you say Coastal Nostrum, there's Latin, the Triad, the Yakuza, the Old Sour. It's just a few, it's some more. Now, street slang. You say gang plus stir, mob plus stir. You know, Merriam-Webster Third New International Dictionary, Oxford English Dictionary, give you the complete and total definition, meaning of the word gang plus stir and mob plus stir. And then you got other street slang like boss, goon, thug, crook, hooligan, mac, player, pimp, whore, hustler, nigga, field nigga, house nigga. Street slang for music, hip and hop, rock and roll, swing, groove, jazz, blues, funk, doo-wop, bebop. Street slang for money, currency exchange, bucks, rack, stack, band, bread, dough, scratch, loot, move, bend the dead president, street slang. Ain't nothing official, ain't nothing to write about, no street slang. When it comes to that sorority and fraternity, the United States Department of Justice, hazing is a crime. The sorority and fraternity, they use hazing in their initiation ritual, so-called devil worship, witchcraft, the occult, and cults. The sorority and fraternity, they commit crimes on and off the campus. They use and abuse tobacco products. They indulge in gambling and gaming chains. They use and abuse alcohol and drugs. They indulge in immoral activity. They indulge in sexual dealings. Don't let the sorority and fraternity mislead you. You know the sorority and fraternity, they work and they manage the businesses, companies, and corporations. They use and misuse the background checks. They commit crimes against humanity, atrocities, violations of human rights and civil rights, inhumanity, genocide, and ethnic cleansing, all forms of discrimination and harassment. They pollute the air, ground, water, as well as noise pollution. They destroy the environment, nature, and wildlife. Don't be misled by the sorority and fraternity. You know what, now that I thought about it, while I was doing my YouTube, when I started my YouTube video, I forgot to mention the boss pimps. I forgot. But I'll tell you, before I end my video today, I'll make sure I don't forget the boss pimps. in the history of Chicago. history, nowhere in the history of Chicago do you see a blood gang or a crip gang. You don't see no bloodstone. You don't see no limestone. You don't see nobody walking around with no Cincinnati red hats. You're talking about some Arizona Diamondback hat. You don't see nowhere in the history of Chicago. Nowhere. Nowhere in the history of Chicago. See, this is the reason why it's so important. Get background check done. Because see, people trying to come up to Chicago from the East Coast, you don't have no. Background check. Background check. Get these bloodhounds moving around the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois. Talking about trying to hide. No. Bloodhound gonna find us. Bloodhound gonna find us. From 2020 beyond, gonna be severe consequence and repercussion. And ain't no such thing as no devil worship, no voodoo, making up all this lies, talking about Satan and ism and all this other the occult and cult. No, you lying. Yeah, when I started my video today and I was doing this, showing the history of Chicago, by mistake I messed around and forgot the boss pimps because I started showing they got video, the Folk Nation Alliance and the My People Nation Alliance. So in between all that, I by mistake forgot the boss pimp, but I ain't gonna forget. Like I said, I didn't forget this time. See, it's important. See, in the history of Chicago, see a lot of them, a lot of the boss pimps, see their families live in Chicago. And when you go into the history of Chicago, come from down south, and like I said, get a background check. Get a background check. See all these lies and talking about voodoo and witchcraft and Satanism and devil and worship. You be lying. The occult and cults. You be lying. All you doing is lying. From 2020 beyond, severe consequences and repercussions. Background check. See, when you get a background check done, see, when you look out there in California, see, when I be saying retaliate on the blood gang, the Crip gang, and the so-called bloodstone and limestone and all that other stuff, see, when you do a background check, see, the University of Southern California, the University of California, Los Angeles, see, people were moving from the East Coast, they were living out there in Los Angeles, see, from the East Coast. They went from Chicago. They went from down south. Do a background check. Now see, this the Folk Nation Alliance. It could be European Americans, Hispanic, Latino Americans, African Americans, and today we have a lot of Asian American, Pacific Islander, because people move around and people have moved to Chicago, Illinois, to the state of Illinois. See, that's the history of Chicago. See, that's why I keep saying, this the history. You don't see no blood gang, no Crip gang. You don't see no bloodstone, no limestone, nowhere. Nowhere. You don't see no Cincinnati Red hats. You don't see no Arizona Diamondback hats. You don't see none of that. None of that in the history of Chicago. So if you hear somebody say they from Chicago, talking about they in the blood gang, you know damn well it's the people from the East Coast trying to live in Chicago. See, that's wrong. It's wrong. Background check. We get these background checks done from 2020 beyond. Gonna be severe consequences and repercussions. Now this is we just did the Folk Nation Alliance. Now this is the My People Alliance in Chicago, Illinois. Like I say, the Folk Nation Alliance, the My People Alliance, the My People Nation Alliance. It can be some European Americans. It can be Hispanic, Latino American. It can be African American. It can also be Asian American, Pacific Islander. Because today people move around, and they start moving to Chicago and living in Chicago, Illinois, or the state of Illinois, or surrounding state. But as you can see, there ain't nowhere in the history of Chicago you don't see no blood gang, you don't see no crib gang, you don't see no bloodstone, no limestone. You don't see it. You don't see it. You don't see no Arizona Diamondback hat. You don't see no Cincinnati Red hat. You don't see none of it. From 2020 beyond, we'll get these background checks done. And talking about some East Coast bitches. We're going to see from 2020 beyond, going to be severe consequences and repercussions. See, let's read about get this bloodhound moving around in the city of Chicago and around the state of Illinois. Get the bloodhound moving. I'm gonna find any and everybody trying to hide. I'm gonna find the bloodhound. I'm gonna find severe consequential repercussions. They ain't gonna take it. Now this is a list of place names of Native American origin in the United States. In Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, Connecticut, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Nebraska, New Mexico, North, South Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Wisconsin, Wyoming. Then you scroll down to the bottom where it says see also, and then it'll be a list of place names of indigenous origin in the Americas. And this is piracy and the pirates. See, that's where that's where a lot of that devil worship, Satanism, witchcraft, the occult. This is the United States Department of Justice. The Office of Juvenile Justice, Delinquency Prevention, the Bureau of Justice, sent the National Gang Center book and the title of the book, History of Street Gangs in the United States, written by Mr. James C. Howard and Mr. John P. Moore. Now you can go to Wikipedia and you can find that same information titled Gangs in the United States. Now this is the International Bill of Human Rights. And this is the Convention on Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination against Women. And this is the Declaration of the Rights of the Child. And this is the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. And this is the world's oldest human rights organization, Anti-Slavery International. And this is the International Federation for Human Rights. And this is the world's oldest international conservation organization, BirdLife International. And this is Fauna and Flora International, was the world's first international wildlife conservation organization. This is the world's oldest global environmental organization, the International Union for Conservation of Nature, also the World Wildlife Fund. Then you have some more organizations: Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, Global Rights, Frontline Defenders of Human Rights Without Frontiers, International Center for Human Rights, Conservation International, Wildlife Conservation Society, Conservation Fund, Legal Conservation Board, Earthwatch Institute, Conservation Association, Earth Justice, Conservation Volunteers, Wildlife Conservation Network, Endangered Wildlife Trust, Biodiversity Next Conservation Association, Rare Species Conservation Center, Wildlife Research Conservation Trust, Rainforest Trust, International Rainforest Conservation Organization, Rainforest Alliance, Rainforest Action Network, Biodiversity International, Earth Day Network, Environmental Defense Fund, Friends of the Earth, Friends of Nature, Greenpeace, the Nature Conservation, Wildlife Conservation Society, Soil and Water Conservation, Clean Water Action, World Water Council, Marine Conservation Institute, Marine Conservation Alliance, Oceanic Preservation Society, Ocean Society, Global Ocean Commission, the International Marine Life Alliance. Now the man-made religious organization that you be using Saul from Tarsus, the self-proclaimed Apostle Paul. He wrote those epistles in the Bible, called himself an apostle. He was lying. He's an occultist. I just showed you one of the verses that the man-made religious organization that they be used. This is another one. You know that's a lie. Ain't no but a lie. That's a lie. You don't have that right. See, that's a violation of human rights. That's a violation of human rights. All lies. Number lies. I'm gonna get ready to end my Instagram video. Then I'm gonna do my Facebook Live. Now these are just a few of the free logo design websites that you can go to, make anti-gang logo. Get ready to end my Instagram video. And after I do my Instagram video, I'm gonna do my Facebook Live video. Now I just ended my Instagram video, but right now my video is right at 2 hours and 30 minutes. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna end this video. Then I'm gonna, they're gonna be it's gonna be dated December the 22nd, 2019, part 1, and then I'm gonna start part 2. Again, my name is Eric D. Johnson. Also, I'm on BrightShine right here in the city of Memphis, in the state of Tennessee, in the county sheriff of the state of Tennessee. Like I said, my video for the end is this gonna be part 1. It's gonna be dated December the 22nd, 2019, part 1.